I'm going.
Or you guys text Brett and them and tell him the stuff's over here. If someone wants to come get it.
Mm-hmm.
And we can unload it. But you guys are loud.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me now? Hello? Hello?
So far, we have 0 viewers, 1 like.
Well, that's not good, is it, Errol?
It's no bueno, I'd say.
No bueno.
Mr. Todd, thank you.
What did you?
We have
label
1
this?
viewing. Mr. Todd is viewing.
All right, what did you label this?
He labeled it. He said Tom's Conspiracy Vid 520.
Tom's not doing conspiracies today. It's all you, Errol.
That's true. Hold
Tom's
on. I'm going to send
conspiracy
this to some people to get them to watch.
Oh,
Oh, no advertising. Only people.
There's advertising.
You got to
on
pay
the
us.
channel.
You got to pay us if you want us to advertise during the live stream. Are you kidding me?
I hope so. It's going to the Brooklyn Angels.
What's up, Sip Chopper? There we go. 13 people. 13 people.
How do I got to go out and then 3 likes. I'm the 4th like.
Nice.
All right.
Hello,
Live.
all. Number 2, baby. That's right. All right. So, Tom,
Yes.
what
sir.
is a C word?
What?
What is the C word?
Oh, conspiracy?
Wrong. Conference finals. The NBA conference finals are set in stone now. Did any of you guys watch that?
I don't watch sports, Errol, because it's a distraction from what's really going on. Just like Caesar held games whenever the people would start uprising, he would hold games to distract the people, and that's exactly what's going on with professional and college sports these days, is distractions from the truth. From the truth, Errol. So what about the
I don't know,
women's,
Tom. It's
what? What are we W? Doesn't that stand for
WNBA?
women's something or other?
WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association.
They've got their own association now.
They do.
Do people sport bet on it
All the time.
all the time?
They have better odds than the regular NBA. All right. What conspiracies do you guys want to talk about today? Deshaun, what do you pick?
I mean,
They don't make enough to make bets. Yeah, but the viewers can bet on them.
the viewers can bet on them. Distractions. Aliens.
Aliens.
We have aliens.
Oh, my turn to talk.
Go for it.
My theory with all this UFO stuff, all these aliens, I don't think they're from outer space because obviously outer space isn't real.
Bingo.
What I think it is it's people from the future coming back in time to view us at like a zoo. And the reason we don't see as many nowadays is because everything's documented on our phones. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you, Tom?
No, that doesn't make any sense. They are the aliens in the sense of alien to us, yeah, from outer space. No, I agree with you there that I don't believe they're from outer space. I kind of think they're probably from the other side of the ice wall. I mean, the technology the Tatarians had is probably developed far beyond what they left us with. And they're probably on the other side of the ice wall. And maybe they do fly over here to check things out. I know whenever we come up with a atomic bomb or something, or we get into a mess like we did in World War II, they checked it out. They're like, should we intercede? Are they going to toast themselves? Are they going to toast the rest of us? Like, is the ice wall enough protection? But
The ice wall.
the ice wall, sky ice.
Is
All
an
right.
angel an alien? I would
In
say
the definition,
no.
in the definition of alien, it's foreign to us. I guess you could say an angel's an alien.
Conspiracy Files.
I mean,
This is a Conspiracy Files. That should be the name.
I was watching something today about the orphan trains and about the 1,000 years that Jesus might have already come back, and we lived in 1,000 years of peace, and that was where the Tartarians came into play. And then when they released Satan back to the earth, that's why there's 200 angels in the book of Enoch, and there's 200 craters that are supposedly from like asteroids or meteorites or something around the earth, and they're all over the earth, and there was a mud flood all over the earth. So did the angels crashing down did they cause the mud flood? And is that what happened to civilization? They had to rewrite everything. The people that were still alive, that remembered the time that it was peace and love during Jesus, like they were all put into mental institutions, and their children then became the orphans that were on the orphan trains. The orphan trains were not just here in the US, the orphan trains were all over the world. Google it, look it up. There's tons of evidence that there were hundreds of thousands of orphans all at once. Like, and we did have, in what was it, 1904, we had over 150,000 Americans in insane asylum, adults. Like, is that what happened? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, I do believe in angels. I don't know. What started that? The angel talk, right?
Yeah.
Or ancient aliens. Like,
my time traveler alien theory.
Yeah. Did aliens build a bunch of the stuff that, like, I'm about to go down to Cancun, Mexico. I'm going to go see Machu Picchu or whatever it's called while I'm there. I've been there before. Very crazy sight. Were aliens involved in making those? Were aliens involved in making the pyramids? Did some of the artifacts dug up in Egypt show aliens, like space helmets and stuff? But what's a space helmet? Pictures. Like, in reality, like, a fighter jet pilot wears a helmet. Does it mean he came from outer space? I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of evidence to say that we did have an advanced society living here on Earth. Now, was that the advanced society before Noah's flood? I mean, God's time and man's time are not the same. And I do believe that creation took place by the Almighty Creator, God. You're completely right to believe in whatever you want to believe in. Obviously, this is for entertainment purposes only. Don't trust me on the facts that I'm saying. But yeah, see, there's some
freaking aliens, pal.
There's some, like, but were they from outer space? I don't think so. I don't think they were. Now, did they actually build the stuff that we look at today and say, how did they build that stuff? Look at some of the stuff in India, man. Like there's some crazy temples and stuff that I just don't think that the Indians of today's standards could build. Not to disrespect, I don't think the Americans of today could have built them either. I don't know. Look at England. We had somebody on here from England. England. I've been to England once before. I don't recommend it if you're going there to eat food. But if you're going there to, like, partake in some of the what I consider wonders of the world, like, you go into those castles and stuff, and you look on the buildings, and even here in America we have this on the buildings. Instead of saying built in this year, it says established in this year. What does that mean? Does it mean that they built the building in that year, or did they establish it, meaning they found it and put a little plaque on it? Like, I mean, the English, the castles, the cathedrals, I mean, they are breathtaking. And those huge doors, what are they for? Like, did they open those doors, like, for regular little people? Like, I mean, they call it the Dark Ages, but was it really the Dark Ages, or was it rewritten history? That's an honest to goodness question of mine. Was, like, during the dark times when we didn't progress in society, but we did build all these massive, beautiful structures. Like, I don't know.
It's peculiar. Very peculiar.
Definitely food for thought, for sure. Does Ed know? I try to educate Ed as much as possible. He did go to college, unlike myself. Like, I don't, like, Errol here is a college guy.
I am.
So, but Errol, how did you overcome your indoctrination?
How did I overcome my indoctrination?
Your indoctrination, Errol, what they do to you as a child with the little above the crib, they've got the spinning earth and stuff like that. Like, how did you overcome that indoctrination? Or are you still overcoming it? Well, we don't say globetard on this channel.
I said Glover.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
No, we don't say globetard on this channel.
We don't say globetard on this channel. We keep it respectful to everybody.
Well, I mean, I'm split, to be honest with you. My issue with the flat Earth is I don't see why they would need to lie about this. Tom says it's because there's Tartarians on the other side who are using us as energy.
I don't necessarily know if they're using us as energy or if they just depleted the resources here enough, or they took off for some reason. They decided that, you know what, like, we got to leave. Like, maybe they found vast resources on the other side of the ice wall, which Admiral Byrd, who flew to Antarctica and passed, he in his notes and his recordings, look up the diary he kept during that trip. I mean, he says he saw like woolly mammoths and stuff, and then he said he saw what would be green and tons of resources such as coal and other minerals just coming out of the side of hillsides and stuff. Like, I don't know.
No, what really made me question it,
Hmm.
because I'm not sold the Earth is flat. I am sold NASA is lying about something
They do lie.
that involves
About
Antarctica.
everything. Yeah.
I know those two things. I do heavily believe in them. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a dumbass, but I am sold on those two things.
We don't put anyone down on this channel, not even ourselves. We don't put anyone down. This is about love. We don't call
You're
people
right.
globetards
I'm a
or
genius.
dumbasses. Yeah. Thank you for the happy belated birthday wishes. NASCAR still uses caveman technology. Well, I mean, we're using fossil fuels. Like, I don't know if there were ever such things as cavemen, or maybe they were just children painting on rocks. Like, that's what I've always thought was like, there's caves, and if I was a kid and had paint, I might go in and paint inside caves. It's a good place to play, you know?
Who knows?
Oh, time travel. No, I'm not going to go in to that the time I did go to college for a little while, because I didn't really study and I didn't really go that often. But I did listen to a lecture that they talked about how time travel could or might be possible, but I don't know. I don't know about time travel. In theory, time travel is somewhat possible. I know Einstein had some interesting concepts.
The guy that flew over Antarctica was the same guy that found the time travel bell. I don't know about that.
Admiral Byrd? How many times have we traveled, circumnavigated, as they say, the Earth going west to east or east to west? Millions of times. Millions of times, according to flight paths and everything else. But how many times have we ever gone like south to north, like this way, or north to south that way? Never. We've never done it. Why? Why is the question? Oh, it's off limits. For some reason, you go anywhere near Antarctica and it's off limits. Like, you will be shot down. It's off limits. Why is it off limits? Who knows why it's off limits? It could be an ice wall. It could be there's a bunch of stuff down there we don't want to get into World War III over. Maybe that's why the United Nations all made the pact. Like, every country says, you know what, Antarctica's off limits.
Maybe it's because to Agartha.
Maybe it's because we don't want to start a world war again because of the resources down there. All I know is a lot of countries were very interested in Antarctica at one time. A lot of expeditions were launched, and then it stopped. It completely stopped. It was cut off from us, everyone except for the government. And now they study sky ice down there, which is supposedly an ice that is hard as stone and cannot melt, and it looks like the sky. Like, is that the firmament coming down? Like, I don't know. I suspect that the Earth is a lot larger than what we're being told. The Nikon, the Nikon P1000 camera, a lot of amateur photographers are using it to show how relatively close the moon really is, how relatively close, the horizon goes on. It continues to go on farther than what the drop would be. I wasn't really going to get into the flat earth today. I didn't really want to do that. This is Errol's time to shine here. But some of his theories, we don't even want to talk about on this channel. We can't.
Yep. Let me think. But with flat Earth,
why are we going back to flat earth?
I don't know. That's your favorite thing.
It's not one of my favorite things. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff like that. I'm like the mud flood, dude. Like there's evidence that shows that at one point in time, all these ancient buildings that we see were covered with mud. You go in certain areas and you can still see the arches, but there's mud there. Why would they build that much underground and then cover it with mud? Who knows? But there was a civilization. I heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
What's our take on emerald tablets? You know anything about emerald tablets?
Not a bit.
I don't know about the emerald tablets. I will have to TikTok it later. Again, that's where I get all my information, so don't believe me. This is for entertainment purposes only. If you want to keep being sheep, that is totally your right. Oh, we shouldn't say that. If you want, no, ignorance not the right
You're
word
entitled to your own beliefs.
You're entitled to your own thoughts and theories. And that's what I told my kid. I'm like, just don't believe everything because it was told to you by an adult. Like, look at me. If I told him the earth was flat, but the earth is round, like, don't just believe it because I say it. Like, I say a lot of stuff that no one should believe. Like this. All of this. It's all entertainment purposes only. YouTube, whoever owns YouTube. Who do you think owns YouTube, really?
Let's look it up.
Like, I mean, do you guys think that there might be, like, maybe they're not even so secret, but there's, like, multi-billionaires in charge of everything?
It's owned by Google LLC.
I don't know. I'm thinking of investing in BlackRock. I mean, BlackRock, it makes a lot of money. Like, maybe I should invest in the stock market on BlackRock, get a little bit of that money. How about cloning dinosaurs? I mean, cloning is they've done it with sheep, and I mean, we've all watched the movie. Is it something to come? I don't know. I say I don't know. Do I believe dinosaurs existed? Oh yeah, they did. Do I believe that giants existed just like the Bible said? Oh yeah, I do believe that. Now, I'm not done reading the book of Enoch. It was recently given to me. I've read the well, I shouldn't say regular Bible around you, because your regular Bible and my regular Bible are two different things. Your regular Bible has a couple.
It's the Catholic Bible.
Yeah, it has a few extra books in it. And I am currently reading the book of Enoch. It gave me nightmares. Let's just put it that way.
What were those
saying
demons?
Mammoths can't be cloned by can be cloned. Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to see a woolly mammoth? I don't think they're going to do too much damage, right? There's a lot of fur on them. There's a lot of meat on them. I think if anything, like, but should we be cloning stuff that's already extinct, or maybe cloning stuff that is about to go extinct? Like, they scare me all the time. I'm got the Weather Channel on my phone and all these sensational stories about, oh, this is happening, or oh, this animal's going extinct. Like, maybe we should like focus on keeping alive the stuff that we are supposedly, like, can we clone like maybe like crabs? Like, I mean, I remember when you could go down and buy some king crab legs at a relatively inexpensive price. Like, I'm inexpensive, meaning, I'm not going to pay like $50 for a crab leg. When I went to Alaska, we get off and they're, best crab legs around. One crab leg, $50 for an Alaskan king crab. And why? They say they're gone. They say they're gone. Maybe it's the Russians overfishing them. Maybe it's climate warming or global. I don't even want to say globe, but climate warming. Like
Or mermaids eating them.
mermaids would probably munch a bunch of them. I
That's
know if
true.
I was a mermaid and I was living down there, like I've never had like raw crab though. Like I've eaten a lot of sushi, but never raw crab.
It's probably pretty good. The mer people.
No one got sick off
Hell
of it.
yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we lost like 7 viewers. Come on.
Well,
It's probably the Megan. What's the Megan?
Megalodon.
Oh yeah,
Megalodon,
Megalodon. Yeah.
I'm all of a sudden, because of this jewelry business that my wife and I started, we go down to the beach down here in South Carolina, also Georgia and Florida and places like that. You can find these shark's teeth that are black. Now, they tell you on the internet that when they're black like that and you find those shark's teeth, that they are 9 to 10 million years old. I don't know if that's the case or not, but we find a bunch of them. It's one of our hobbies is to go down to the beach, and we have a way of finding them. And we also have a permit for finding them. But you don't have to have a permit as long as you don't go into the water. But megalodon teeth are like a regular occurrence here where people do find them. I haven't been to those beaches. There are a few beaches where you can find them on shore. I'm really looking forward to what they find when they dredge up Charleston Harbor this year. They're dredging the whole thing to make it larger for bigger cruise ships to come out of. Loch Ness Monster, could it exist? Is it there, Nessie?
Nah, I don't believe it.
I mean, it looks awful like what is it, a plesiosaur
Also,
or something?
the description of it has changed way too much. I don't buy it. However, Bigfoot, I believe Bigfoot might have been real. I don't think it's real anymore. I think whatever species that was went extinct.
I don't know. Is there so much undiscovered Earth that we don't know about that could house Bigfoot or the Yeti or there? I mean, it's throughout history, Errol, that there are sightings like all over the place. Like, who knows? Like, maybe he's just smart and he doesn't want to be found. The Skywalker Ranch. I started watching Skywalker Ranch. I thought it was going to be interesting, but it's another Curse of Oak Island. You know, could it be? Could it be that Bigfoot had relations with the Loch Ness Monster and they hid the baby on Oak Island? Like that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know. How do you even trust the History Channel anymore? Like, I know South Park did a good episode about the History Channel. I think it was great. I love South Park. Haven't watched it in a while, though. I don't know. Are they still doing episodes? I don't know. It's one of those shows that, like, I guess it could be offensive to some people, but I think it's all in good fun. But yeah, Skywalker Ranch, I don't know. Maybe they're just on a bunch of meth. Like, I mean, when I was on a bunch of meth, I thought I saw aliens and stuff all the time. Like, who knows? Those were just like the stars through the firmament bouncing around because my eyeballs were going like this. But who knows? Who knows?
In the firmament.
The firmament.
Oh, with the firmament. Apparently, I learned this today. The United States military would launch nukes into the sky to try to
They did
break
that once.
the firmament.
That once they called Operation Fishbowl, where they launched a nuke into the sky to see what it would do in the atmosphere.
Likely story.
Just like Elon Musk is launching Sky, whatever. What is X, whatever? What is he doing? He's bouncing rockets off the firmament.
Just
wasting
these rockets.
Like,
but my theory is, why would they want to do that? Because then I would assume the water would just start pouring down, and then we'd have an even bigger issue.
But is it water or is it sky ice? Like, the water's above, the water's below, but is it frozen water? Is it sky ice or is it not? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, seeing weird things in the sky, just like you're looking up and you're seeing planets, you're seeing, quote, NASA's satellites moving around and stuff. Who knows? I'm, a telescope, I've seen stuff through telescopes that it's pretty cool, but I've never seen the even with really nice telescopes, even at like places that you go to look at stars, like they don't look like the pictures. And I mean, and Elon Musk car driving around in space with Rocket Man or whatever the name is of his little android buddy, and it's electric, of course. An electric car traveling through space, just passed by Mars, little pictures.
What's everybody's WNBA picks for tonight?
Are you betting on WNBA right now?
Or MLB? I'm debating.
I don't even know.
I'm debating whether I should bet
I
or
don't
not
know.
tonight. I'm up for the week, so I might cash it and just wait until there's like a promotion to put stuff in.
Do I think aliens aren't out there? Like we were talking about with the aliens earlier. I'll tell you a story. And my dad, he doesn't lie. Like that's one thing that my dad, he don't lie. And him and my mom were driving truck, and what they claimed they saw was a cigar-like ship come down at an angle it couldn't come down at, pace with their truck for a while, and then shoot off at an angle. Like I believe my dad and my mom saw that. Was it a government ship? Who knows? Did we come up with it? Who knows? Was it humans from the future? Who knows? Were they little green men? Who knows? Like, there's a lot that we don't know, and that's the whole thing. Is question everything. Question everything. If you say you know something for sure, chances are you don't. At least for myself personally, my wife, she always knows. She's always right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my girlfriend is actually from Argentina, and she confirmed to me that Antarctica isn't real.
How many of you guys were addicts? Well, Ed hires a lot of people from that need help, and so a lot of us are. A lot of us, Ed is giving back to a lot of us, and like I was telling Errol some of my stories today, and he's like, "I'm glad you landed on your feet." You know, from being homeless, literally eating out of trash cans, and literally thinking that people were out to get me all the time and everything else, to where I'm at now. I'm on the 31st of this month, I close on a really, really nice house, guys. I never thought I would, number one, be married again. Like the first marriage was heroin and meth, and it wasn't good. It lasted about 6 months, and my dad gave her $400 to sign divorce papers. But to think of where I've come from, and what I was doing, like I'm coming up on 11 years clean, but that's not that long. Like in the grand scheme of things, the amount of time I spent in active addiction, the amount of time I spent living on the streets, the amount of time I spent doing anything and everything to get what I thought I needed, and there was always, no matter what, a big empty hole in me. You know, I couldn't fill it with enough drugs, with enough women, with enough anything. Like I never had enough money to try to fill it, but I don't think that would have worked either. Like it really was a giant spiritual hole that the only way it got filled was with God. And, you know, and my personal beliefs in my personal God, which is completely different than Errol's personal beliefs.
Not really.
No, it is like
both Christianity.
Yeah, but I'm not what you consider like your standard Christian, like what I believe.
No, I would consider you Christian, but you're not Catholic. But you're
yeah,
Christian.
but I mean, like, yeah, I believe Jesus was the Son of God, but do I believe everyone's going to hell that doesn't believe in Jesus?
I never said that.
Oh, well, isn't that that's not a Catholic belief? Well, maybe
we shouldn't get into that.
Maybe we do.
Let's not get into that this time.
Maybe we do believe similar things. You know, I'm trying to find this house to show you guys.
You can't say that on the live, Tom.
What did I say?
I think everyone's not Catholic is going to hell.
I didn't say it.
I don't. Okay.
Oh man! Oh, where's my house?
Right.
Did they take it off? Here.
I have a conspiracy theory about Tom. I think Tom is actually a secret agent from California sent to perpetuate Southern stereotypes. Because as a Yankee, what we're told is that, oh, the South is crazy. But everyone I've met in the South has been pretty normal, except for Tom, and Tom is from hippie California.
I was
So
born there, but I never belonged.
I think Tom is a secret agent
But-
sent from California to make the South look crazy.
Look at this house I'm buying. Look at this house, guys. Look at this. Look at this. It's got a gas range. Like, I'm so tired of cooking on a glass top stove. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, this. Look at this house, guys. Can you believe that? Can you believe that I am buying this house? Like, look at double vanity. Look at that. Look at that. Like a hot tub in the bathroom. It's got jets in the bathroom, man. Like inlaid showers. Like, and the best part about all of this is if you look back here at, where is this picture? This picture here, my property line goes down these bushes all the way back behind this bush and all the way down. It's an acre, guys. I'm gonna have giant rabbits. I'm gonna have chickens. Can you believe
Give
that?
them your ideas.
Can you believe that? I mean, I can, like, I'm permanently disabled, cannot work in the great state of communist California, but
It's California.
not to, I don't want
Don't hate on people.
I don't want to
home
put
states.
any communist down. If you're a communist, you're right. Is it their right?
You can you have your right to your own beliefs. Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean,
in my opinion, at least.
like, no, I think that's great for you. I'm not trying to say that you're like California at all. California sucks. It's hot. It's finally getting some rain, which they will let out of the river, let out of the dams into rivers that goes to the ocean, because there might be a fish that lived there 50 years ago. But, you know, like, I don't know. I want to get a telescope. I don't have the money to get a telescope right now. I have used like some nice telescopes that other people brought. You remember Halley's Comet? This is aging people, obviously. I was a child when Halley's Comet flew by. And one of my dad's friends was a big space nerd, big into, you know, outer space and everything. He brought a really nice telescope over to our house, like one of them fat, big ones that you look through like this. And we saw Halley's Comet through that, which was kind of incredible. It was still like very much milky looking. It wasn't like, I didn't see a rock, let's just put it that way, but that's probably because of all the asteroid dust or whatever flying off of it. Who knows? Oh yeah, lawn dog. If it rains, I lived in California up till 5 years ago. If it rains enough to even get close to filling up a lake there where they might have drinking water for the next 6 or 7 years, they definitely want to let it go. Not just because of dams breaking, like in Ojai, Lake Casitas, they decided that there was a trout, steelhead trout, that when my dad was a child used to run up the Ventura River. And so they decided, you know what would be a good idea? The lake is at like 60% full. We should let about 20% of it out into this dry creek bed that runs into the Ventura River. So maybe by chance, these trout will come back to life somehow. Like, I don't know. I've been to, you know, the desert out there in Death Valley, and there are fish that when it rains, they come back to life. But I don't think steelhead trout work that way. I think it was just them. You know, if you're in California, you get so many cubic feet of water per household. And if you use more than that, there is a huge consequence when it comes down to paying for it. Same with electricity in California. The power grid isn't big enough to support all the people that live there. So you can't run any electronic, like washers, dryers, like air conditioning during certain hours of the day, such as from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night. Because if you do, the power grid might go down. Then there might be people in big buildings with using lots of electricity that might have to go without air conditioning. Use more than the government allowed it amount. water. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, Long Dog. But here in the South, like, thank goodness, like, man, I'm so, like, when I got out here from California, you know, I used to stand in the rain and praise God every time if it sprinkled in California, because I had my garden, I had my peppers and stuff, and I couldn't use very much water, and I wanted to keep them alive. Every time it rained, I used to run outside and praise God in that rain. And I got out here to South Carolina, and I mean, you guys, it is a Errol, open up that door. Let them see the jungle that is South Carolina out there. I mean, we literally live in a subtropical climate, and it is like going into the jungle. It really is. It is really cool to live here. I couldn't, when I got here, like, I was like, wow, it rains so often. Well, you know what? These last few weeks, we've had rain nearly every day. And there's always, during this time of year, there's always like a 25% chance of rain. So we get pop-up storms. Like right now, it's pretty humid. Nice though, not very hot. But yeah, it's beautiful here, and I can afford a house here. Like that house I just showed you, like, man, I can afford to buy a house. Unlike California, where I was living at my parents' house and I couldn't do anything. But I am not trying to bash on California or California politics. I mean, it's a beautiful state. The Sequoias, my grandfather was the head pastor for the Church of Sequoia. We got to go up there amongst the giant trees and live for 3 months out of the year. Every summer as a kid, I went up there and lived in the giant sequoias for a year. I mean, I was 10 minutes from the beach where I lived in California, in a little town called Ojai. You guys know Charman brand. And I could go on a hike, go to the beach. Like I could literally, you could probably, if you wanted, go snowboarding, go hiking, and go surfing all on the same day. Like California is a beautiful, beautiful place. And so California itself is awesome as like a place. But yeah, the taxes and the ungodly amount you have to pay for housing and the homeless cities. I was homeless in California before it was cool to be homeless in California. Wouldn't you say? Like I was homeless like probably 12, 13 years ago. Now it's cool to be homeless in California. Before, people would look at me and say, "Oh, what's wrong with that man?" Yeah, they still would probably, but the way I was.
I think a lot of people.
But now there's teachers living in motorhomes at the beach because they don't have to pay rent and they don't make enough money to afford house. So yeah.
All right. Well, that's like 37 minutes.
Well, but we still got viewers.
So we go until all the viewers leave.
I really do want to go to Japan. Why? Because I'm a big anime fan, and I hear like that Japan like really celebrates anime over there. I hear that like the trains have Naruto and stuff on them. Like now I know Naruto's over, but whatever the new one is, maybe. I'm a big anime fan. I like anime because it's so ridiculous, but the plot lines are so good that you can get lost in it, and you're not like it has nothing to do with like real life. Like I'm so over like real life. Like I just want to escape from real life. I don't watch the news anymore. I get all my news off of TikTok, and I try not to even watch news on TikTok. I mean, the political stuff comes up on TikTok, and I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to go there. Also, aliens, spooky, haunting stuff in Japan. Ah, the suicide forest and stuff in Japan.
Spooky.
You should watch Demon Slayer. I should watch Demon Slayer. I'm rewatching Demon Slayer right now for like probably the 4th or 5th time. This time I'm watching it with my son and my wife. The 2 new episodes that came out, don't spoil them for me. I haven't seen them. I know they're on Crunchyroll already. I'm waiting till the whole season comes out so I can binge it. But Demon Slayer is awesome. Demon Slayer might be one of my Jujutsu Kaisen. Is that what it's called? Jujutsu
Yeah,
Kaisen.
Kaisen.
That's probably my favorite series right now. I'm really, really waiting for the new ones to come out on that one. But Demon Slayer is probably a close second on that one. YouTube Shorts.
Well, I know what the worst anime is, and that's Haikyuu. Awful, awful anime.
Death Note. I mean, Death Note was like good. Like, I mean, Bleach. I loved Bleach, and then it kind of like drug on a little bit. But the first few seasons of Bleach were amazing. We just finished My Hero Academia with my son. Like, not really a show that I could like. I watched it because the animation was really good on it. Not something that I really got behind. Now, One Punch Man making fun of the hero genre, that was awesome. I wish they'd come out with more seasons of that. But you know, my son absolutely loves My Hero Academia. Ghost in a Shell was good. It was good. We still got 25 viewers, and I don't want to start working. I really don't want to work. Well, I do. I love my job, guys. I love it. Getting spicy all day is awesome. Not being able to pee using hands you kind of dangle, that's kind of cool. I learned not to piss all over the place. Can I say that on?
Yeah, why not?
No, man, why not? It's just part of the life of Peppers.
Part of the lifestyle.
Part of the lifestyle here. Don't touch your eyes. Don't, you know, like. Space Time Witch. I don't think I've seen that one.
Sounds spooky.
I have not. Back to aliens, man. Back to aliens. Like, are there aliens among us? Oh, yeah, there are. Now, whether they're lizard people, I don't know. Mark Zuckerberg and lizard person, possibly? Who knows? Or he could be one of the ones pulling the strings for a puppeteer behind the scenes. Who knows? Does Mark Zuckerberg own YouTube? I probably shouldn't say anything about him then.
No, I don't think so.
He doesn't own it?
Sounds like Alphabet Inc. at the top
Alphabet
of the food chain.
Inc. You know, I want to get Ed, speaking of Alphabet. Wouldn't it be cool if Ed Curry was on Sesame Street and Elmo was like, but Mr. Ed, peppers burn me up. And then Ed explains to Elmo that peppers are really good for you and they're not bad for you. Wouldn't that be cool? I think I could do it. Like, I've called a few people, like cold calling a few people that Ed was like, yeah, don't call them again. Tabasco being one of them, you know. But maybe I could get Ed on Sesame Street and really indoctrinate that up and coming generation to like peppers. You know, that you got to start them when they're kids. So you guys at home, do us all a favor, feed your kids hot stuff. That way, when they get older, they continue to buy hot stuff products. Like I say, there's not a too young of an age to start your child with a habanero. Entertainment purposes only. Do not do what I say. Do not say Tom told me to feed my 3-month-old a jalapeno. I'm just saying that kids tolerate spice really good. Like Melissa's son, well, now he's all grown up, but when he was a little guy, like, he could outdo most grown-ups on spicy stuff. He really could. Facebook owns Instagram. All right, so I can say stuff about Mark Zuckerberg here. I mean, I don't think it's all him. I think he's just like you know, the front man per se. I met kids who don't tell Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson conspiracy. Is he still alive? I mean, I lived very close to Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. Like, literally, Ojai is like 30 minutes south. You don't visit Neverland Ranch. You get invited to Neverland Ranch, and I don't know if I would want to go. I hope Heather's not watching. She's a huge fan of Michael Jackson.
Uh-oh.
We probably shouldn't say too much about Michael Jackson, but, you know, I mean, he was a great entertainer. I mean, he had, like, but what's this new one that they say is outdoing Michael
Anyways.
Jackson? What's her name?
Anyways.
She's pretty basic. Like, she
Taylor
goes to
Swift?
Yeah, Taylor Swift. She goes to, like, football games now. Like, I don't know. Are there any Swifties out there that I'm, like, going to
Offending?
offend?
Oh, dude, they'll come
But,
after you.
I mean,
Don't say anything about them. Don't say anything about K-pop. Keep it safe. Keep it safe,
She's pretty
Tom.
basic. Like, I always ask my
Uh-oh.
wife, every time I hear a basic Caucasian female on the radio, I say, is that Taylor Swift? And my wife will go, half the time it's yes. Half the time it's yes. The other half of the time she's like, no, why do you think they're all Taylor Swift? And I go, because they're basic songs, you know.
She's a clone of Satanic Priestess.
They're
True.
saying that she's better than the Beatles. She's better than Michael Jackson. Like, Michael Jackson had them moves. Ow! Ow! Like, was that good? Was that like a good Michael Jackson impression?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was pretty good. She's a clone of Satanic. I've seen that. Have you seen that on TikTok? She does look very much like the person in those old pictures. She very well could be. I don't know.
Taylor Swift is a psyop. Real.
Right? Okay. Now they're getting on the same page as me, all right? Entertainers that take us and distract us from what's really going on.
Like Jujutsu Kaisen?
Come on now, guys. Come on now. Like, what was his name and his wife that did what that one hot sauce name shit the bed hot sauce? Who is that? He played a pirate.
I don't know.
Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah.
Johnny Depp. You don't think that whole trial was just like to get us focused on something else? It didn't get me focused on anything else. I didn't pay attention to it. I paid attention to the real world at the time. And the real world's beautiful, guys. Look at this. This is the real world. Don't worry about anything else. I can't see the curvature of the earth. So this is my reality. My reality is gorgeous. And if I don't watch the news and I do my best to keep off of political things on TikTok, like, my reality is pretty awesome. Yeah, NASA pisses me off. And when I need to feel pissed off, that's what we do. We're humans. Like, when I'm having a stressful day, what do? I turn on TikTok, which I'm not allowed to watch at my house, my wife says. But sometimes when I'm in the bathroom, I turn it on, you know. And I get distracted. I get distracted from what's going on with me, the stress of moving, the stress of, you know, buying a new home and everything. I get distracted and I go, you know what? NASA, buying up all the helium, lying to us. My taxes go to pay for that. That's what the news does. But if you watch the news constantly and you're constantly pissed off at the news, stop watching it. That's what I did. I mean, how many years ago? 4 years ago now, I stopped watching the news. Message retracted. What did you say?
Uh-oh. What did you say?
I don't know. The government creates money. Why do they need ours? Because the government used to have a thing called the gold reserve, the gold standard, the silver standard. We used to have gold notes and silver notes. Guess what we don't have anymore? Gold and silver notes. Why is our dollar bill not stretching as far as it used to? Because the government prints more money. All right? Inflation is giving people higher wages. They say, okay, everyone in California needs to make at least $15 an hour in order to live. Well, guess what that does? Yeah, let's look. Basically, the restaurant now has to pay the busboy $15 an hour. Now, the busboy, yeah, he comes home with a bigger check, but who does that get passed on to? The consumer. So the person that goes into the restaurant goes, why is my fish so much money? Why are things going up in price? Well, now because we have to pay the busboy $15 an hour. Now, the guy renting the home to the busboy, he now goes out to a restaurant, has to pay more money for his food. He goes into a grocery store and now has to pay more money for his food. So now the guy renting the property raises the rate of the rent. And guess what? It just keeps going and going. But we continually print more money. It doesn't mean that it's worth that. Like, it's not worth it. Like, I collect paper money. I like to collect paper bills. All right. I have a bunch of silver certificates, a bunch of gold notes. And there used to be, if I had a $10 gold note, it used to mean that there was $10 worth of gold set aside in America. If I had a $1 silver note, it used to mean there was $1 of silver set aside in America. That's not the case. That's not the case anymore, guys. It's not the case. Well, how did I get onto that topic? Who did that to me? When you print more money, it's worthless. Exactly.
Hell yeah, dude.
Neem oil gets rid of aphids. Neem oil is great, guys. I'm going to tell you about neem oil here. Neem oil does more than just get rid of aphids. It's good for a lot of different things. Do you know that putting neem oil on your skin is good for your skin? It is. I used to put neem oil on my skin too. It's good for you. Neem oil is awesome. It's organic, and it does get rid of aphids. But the key to neem oil working is spraying when the plants are young. You do not want the aphids on the plants when you start spraying. And you don't want to spray neem oil on your peppers or whatever else you're going to eat. It's not tasty. It's not poisonous, but it's not tasty either, unless you really, really want to wash those veggies off after neem oiling. My suggestion is neem oil before they fruit. Neem oil during the flower stage. Neem oil before the flower stage. Neem oil yourself. It's great for your skin. Just once it hits fruiting, that's when I stop neem oiling. If I do have to spray neem oil, I'll pick up the bottom of the leaves where you know the aphids go, and you spray them. Yes, neem oil does wash off a plant in time. If it rains, unlike in California, it will wash off. But if you live in the desert or you live in California, neem oil doesn't wash off unless you're hosing your plants down. I don't recommend hosing your plants down, honestly. Like, spray fertilizer works great on leaves too. Spray your leaves with fertilizer. It's great. The bigger the leaf, the better it is for the plant. Spray fertilizer on the leaves and the whole plant. It's awesome. But just like neem oil, it will wash off. That's good, you know. But if the neem oil cakes up on the plant, it's not necessarily a good thing either. So just be cognizant. Is that the word? Cognizant? Just be aware of that. I don't like big words. I try not to use them. I get tongue-tied when I do.
Cameron always tries to sneak them in there too.
Topping plants. What do we do about topping plants? Here at the farm, we don't top. Why? Because topping is for certain peppers. Certain peppers love to be topped, okay? Like, I had this jelly bean habanero plant. I topped it. It stayed nice and small and produced a ton of jelly bean habaneros. The smaller the pepper generally means you can top them. The big fruity peppers, topping them actually reduces the yield. Do we take the leaves off the stem of the plant? Yes, we do. What does that do? It causes more growth up top. And when you have more fan leaves and more growth up top and less on the bottom, you have a better yield. It produces more flowers. But that's what we do to our plants here. We plant side by side too. When you plant your rows, we put pepper plants right next to each other. Why do we do that? Because we don't have tomato cages to put on every single plant. What it does is when they are growing side by side, they support each other. So when they get larger, they do support each other. If we do anything, a lot of times, even the reapers out here, the fruit gets so heavy that it wants to go to the ground. What we do is we took stakes at the ends of the rows and throughout the row, and we run a string line, and that keeps them off the ground. That way we don't have to. We wash all our peppers here, but when it rains here, you get some splash up anyway, but you don't want the peppers like laying in mud or in the sand. Oh, thank you. I've grown plants for a very long time. It's one of the subjects that I am kind of educated in. Um, so, yeah, thank you. You guys want to know something cool? A cool little trick? It's called silica. Now, silica is found naturally in the ground anyway. But if you give your plant silica, you can turn a fan leaf that's the size of your hand into a fan leaf that is twice as big. I mean, it allows the cell structure of the plants to just really increase. And silica is awesome for plants. Like, I love to grow plants at my house. We don't do all this stuff on the farm. Obviously, we are 100% organic here. We use a lot of turkey litter before we even do the rows. We spread turkey litter throughout the ground, then we turn everything up and put them in rows. And we do fertilize with organic fertilize during the season, just not that much of it. We try to get all the fertilizer and get the nutrients in the soil first. But at home, dude, I buy the Jax 20 off of Amazon. Like, you can get big old 50-pound sacks, Jax 20 Now, don't start feeding your plants Jax 20 right off the bat. Like, start them slow, mix it where it's more water than fertilizer. Like, don't go by their mixing rate. Start your plants off slow, giving them a little bit, and then hit them with that Jax. And I mean, if you want to see fruit on plants, if you want to see gigantic plants, silica and Jax 20 is an awesome mixture. I will show you a picture of some silica Jax 20 plants that I have done.
And then we'll be at like an hour.
Have done in the past here. Can you guys see me in that picture? Right. That's one plant. Those are one plant. Yes, they're in 55-gallon jugs, drums of vinegar that have been cut down, but that is one plant.
Well, I have to bring stuff to the factory before people go home.
Do you have to bring stuff to the factory?
But if you want to keep going solo,
man, like now you guys got me on gardening, and I love gardening.
You want to go solo?
Sure,
okay,
sure,
cool.
I'll go solo. I don't know how to end this anyway. Oh, there's a little button down here.
Button that says end stream.
Yeah, Jax 20 and silica. They do some good things. There's some stuff called micros too. That is actually, it's a symbiotic relationship with the roots. And what it does is micros attaches itself to the roots, and actually anywhere the micros grows and is touching the roots, the micros sucks in nutrients to those roots. I think we have some micros somewhere around here. We do that in the greenhouse. That's one of the things I got Ed doing, is using micros on the greenhouse plants. Like, I can show you some of our greenhouse plants too. Like, let me go back here. Like, this is some crazy, like, rip. I take a lot of photos. I got Alaska in here. I've got when me and my wife went down to Costa Rica. Yep, I went too far now. I'm back on tuna fishing boats. Oh, Miracle Grow, man. Like I don't have an issue with Miracle Grow. We use Miracle Grow organics here in the greenhouse. I don't like the nutrients mix, that the actual numbers on the bag. They always put so much nitrogen in it, and then everything else is way second to it. I like to balance them out. That's why I go with the 20. I mean, at some point, like, different plants, obviously I just showed you guys some different plants. Those you're not going to want to use 20 the whole time. You're going to want to use a bloom food on and just straight bloom them out at the end. You know, you get them to a certain size, which those were about ready to go straight bloom food. But where am I in the greenhouses here? Like, and I post them on Facebook, but like this is a picture of one of the greenhouses. Like, it's a huge greenhouse, and those plants are 6 foot high. And I mean, and that's what, if you're gonna nude them, like, you give them a lot of nitrogen, they're gonna get big. But then you're going to want to switch over to more of a bloom food when it gets to bloom time. You're going to want to switch to a bloom food. Now I'm a big fan of not just using one fertilizer, using several different fertilizers. Start them off. I start all my plants off with fish emulsion. Fox Farms is awesome. I think Fox Farms is just, and Happy Frog or whatever it's called. I think they're just too expensive. If I was to do a grow, like just my own grow here, I would get cocoa fiber. Peppers especially and other plants, they don't like wet feet. Cocoa fiber absorbs the nutrients, but it drains really well. You can get straight cocoa fiber, BM6, I think they call it. Some of it like is what I used to use. But straight cocoa fiber, and then just nude them. It has no nutrients in it. It's cocoa fiber. But what it does is it allows for great drainage. You can't overwater cocoa fiber. It only absorbs so much and then rinses the rest, allowing the roots to really grow and not getting root rot or anything like that. And then that's why there's sand in Fox Farms. It's for that flush. It's for keeping. You don't want the roots to rot in there, which you get with soil. Like I ain't gonna lie, like soil it holds a lot of moisture depending on the soil you use. I mean, we've been using Miracle Grow organics here for the last few years, and it works really well. I don't like the big chunks of wood and stuff in it, but I mean, if you're amending a garden, that's great. That wood breaks down over time, but when you put it into pots, that wood really doesn't do too much other than give some aeration in the soil. Last year, my Reaper plant was taller than me. Yeah, man. Like that's what giving them a lot of nitrogen, putting them in a lot where they can just do their thing. Like they get big. Pepper plants get huge. Like, did you guys know that in like Hawaii and stuff, they live like year round? Like, it's awesome. I had a pepper plant in California that I kept alive for I think 6 years before I left, and then my parents killed it. It was a Jamaican plantation pepper. I don't know if that's the actual name of the pepper. It was given, some seeds were given to me by a buddy that went down to Jamaica, and it was a gnarly hot pepper. I was really excited about growing it. I kept it alive for a long time. I wish I had some of those seeds. Yeah, man. It's hard to buy good soil like in the store. Like, I mean, Fox Farms does a great job. I think they charge way too much, but they're one of the ones that have a niche on good soil. They add in that sand, they add in that stuff that makes the soil drain really well. I'm glad I'm confirming a lot of stuff. Yeah. I don't know if that's the type of Jamaican seeds we're talking about, but I did actually grow a Jamaican plantation pepper. That was really cool. It was a yellow pepper. It had spikes on it. Like, I don't know what it was. That was what the buddy told me it was. He said he had this really hot pepper while he was in Jamaica. He brought home some seeds. He said they called it Jamaican plantation pepper. Yeah, Fox Farms does a good job. I'm not bashing Fox Farms for their soil. I'm bashing them for their price. They charge way too much for, like, I mean, guys, mix your own soil. Like read what's on the Fox Farms bag and then mix it yourself. No need to be sorry about being late. We're talking about plants right now, which I love talking about plants. I love talking about, I think everyone should, like, we don't keep any secrets here at Puckerbutt when it comes to what we do with plants. Like, we want everyone to succeed in their growing. Nice to see you, 26 cents. Yeah, exactly. Making your own, you can save a lot of money by making your own mixtures. And like I said, pepper plants like to have drainage. They don't like to have wet feet. If you keep your pots too wet, you will start getting root rot. You can generally say that a plant, so as big as the canopy, it has twice as much roots. Now, you might not see that in a 5-gallon bucket because the roots are all wrapped around and spun together, but that's a general rule of thumb. Is the size of the canopy of the plant is directly related to the size of the pot you put in or the size of the roots that it's got. That's why with a 5-gallon pot, even though you nude it and you do everything that you're going to get about a 6-foot high plant is generally what we get is around 6 foot. They do really well. They produce a lot of pods, but if you did that same like thing in the ground and gave it everything, like, man, I've seen some trees, dude, like seriously some trees, especially some pictures from Hawaii and stuff of how big their pepper plants get over time. It's just amazing. Like, it's awesome. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I was supposed to be working. Ed told me that we could talk for a while on here, but I was supposed to be working. I got some tincture to make. So love you guys. Yeah, stay off the news is like my best advice. Like, look at the world around you. Like, I start getting negative, start getting on NASA and everything else, and then I look around me and I say, like, really, what does it matter? Flat Earth, round Earth, like, what does it matter in the long run? Like, am I ever going to know? Probably not. You know, am I ever going to go to Antarctica? No. Will I ever, like, even if they let me in Antarctica, would I have the money, or would I want to be where it's so cold? Like, I don't like the cold. Like, that's not really the life is not that. Look at these. Like, can you guys see? No, that way doesn't. There it goes. Look at those clouds, man. Look at that sky. Look at that tree line. Look at them greenhouses. Like, that's what matters in life. Like, my family matters in life, not what TikTok tells me, not what the news tells me, not what they're trying to, sensationalize and tell me what's going on. Do I care that NASA created the Aurora Borealis the other day? No, I don't. It was cool. I never thought I'd get to see one. Who cares if it's man-made or not? Like, it's awesome. Life is awesome, but life is what you make out of it, and it's all about your perspective. If you look at the glass as half full, the glass is always going to be half full. If you look at the glass as or half empty, I said it wrong. But if you look at the glass half full, it's going to be, you're going to have a better time than if you look at it as half empty. If I focus on the negative, I'm going to be a negative person. If I focus on what the news is trying to sensationalize to me, oh my goodness, like, I'd be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And I used to do that. I used to watch a lot of news. I thought it was important to keep up on what was going on in the world. I thought it was important. And they fed me garbage all day long. And I don't care what news channel you watch. It's garbage all day long, trying to form division when there shouldn't be any division, man. Like, life is good. I got a gentle breeze blowing in from the pepper fields. The greenhouses are stacked with new pepper plants. I'm about to plant some more plants tomorrow, some more seeds for our greenhouses. Once those greenhouses get empty, then it's my turn, man. I get to go have fun in the dirt. I'm buying a new house. I got a wife and a son that love me. I get to provide for my family. Those are the things that matter. Not what's said on Facebook or TikTok or the news or anything else. Those are all just distractions. And like I was saying about professional sports, it's all just a distraction, man. Like, sometimes it's fun to be distracted for a while. I get it. I'm human. I watch anime at night because I like that distraction. I don't like, sometimes it's just nice to kick off your shoes, but what you're doing to distract yourself should bring you peace, joy, and happiness. It shouldn't get you upset. Watching the news before bed Like the Bible, whether you believe in it or not, says don't go to bed angry. You shouldn't go to bed angry. I mean, like, don't get worked up over that stuff that they're telling us. Like everyone, oh, they're going to take our guns. You know how many people have asked to take my gun? None. Oh, they're gonna ruin the country by drilling for oil. Like, all right. Like, are they ruining my? Like, I guess if I lived in Texas and was having earthquakes, it might matter to me, but I don't. It's pretty cool here. I don't worry about that sort of stuff anymore. I used to. I used to worry about a lot of it. I don't do that anymore. Awesome. Congratulations, 44 years of being married, long dog. So, love, like if you look in any, like, it all boils down to love. Like Ed says, love people, man. Like do something nice. Do something nice for yourself too. All right? Like sometimes I feel like, I go home and I cook dinner for my wife, and my son, and it becomes like a chore. And instead of me doing it out of the, like, oh, I love you guys and this is what I made for you. Like, I used to work in restaurants, and I'm not good in working in restaurants. Everything has to be served hot, served fresh. Like, I used to get, man, I got fired from some restaurants for yelling at people in the kitchen, that my sous chefs and stuff, like, because everything has to be perfect. You know what? Like, would my family rather me serve them hot dogs and be happy sitting down at dinner, or would my wife rather me do like a 5-star steak dinner with all the rest of it, all the sides that all come out at once? Like, every time I tried to do that, every time, like tonight I'm going to do a crab boil, which is easy. It all comes out at once. But every time I've got the green beans, the asparagus, the mac and cheese, the baked beans, and the ribs on the grill, every time I try to serve everything hot and at once, it's not because I'm doing it out of love. It's more I'm doing it out of, oh, I'm going to get a pat on the back. Oh, Tom, thanks for making this extravagant dinner. And I get home from work and I stress myself out doing that sort of stuff. And what does it do? It's just upsetting to them too. Like serving them hot dogs and sitting down and being happy at dinner and talking with my family. That's what matters. Like, yeah, I want those pats on the backs. I like those attaboys. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like to be told they're good at something, or thank you for doing this or that? But if I start thinking about how much does that really matter in the long run, I need to do good stuff for myself. I need to feel good about Tom. I don't need people patting me on my back to feel good about myself. Like, that's the point I have to get to. I'm still working on it, man. Like, after doing this recovery thing for nearly 11 years, working on the steps and working on, how to improve my life, I still struggle with that, that self-worth coming from the inside, coming from my spirituality, coming from my beliefs in a higher power that loves me and would do anything for me. Like, I need to focus on that sort of stuff, not focusing on, getting those attaboys. You know what I'm talking about? But I can't eat out anymore. They always forget the secret ingredient. I don't know what the secret ingredient is, but yeah, guys, I should really get off of here because Ed is going to be back, and then Ed's going to say, Tom, what did you do today? And I'm going to be, I'm on your computer still, Ed. You left, and it's now it's almost 4 o'clock, and I've been on here the whole time. Yeah, man, a hug's always good. You're right. Like physical touch. We kind of lost that during COVID, Like, personally, I didn't, because, like, I was like, if I'm going to get COVID, I'm going to get COVID. But we did. We lost a lot of that. We lost that physical touch, and I'm worried about the kids, and it's something I shouldn't worry about. I shouldn't worry about anything. If God's in control, I shouldn't be worried about it. Yeah, lead my child in the right direction. I'm trying to do that. But this day and age that it is, he has his cell phone with YouTube on it, those YouTube shorts. He's all about the YouTube shorts now. He has a cell phone with the YouTube on it. He's got his little Nintendo tablet playing some game, and then he's got Robux on another thing. And it's just like, and it's almost like an addiction. Like, he can't leave it. Like, and you tell him to turn it off or come eat dinner or do anything like that, and he can't. And I mean, most of his social life, other than when we go over to Ed's and he plays with Ed's kids and we go fishing and stuff, but most of his day-to-day life is on these electronics. And it's sad because that physical touch, going down to the creek when you get off school, like I used to do with my buddies with wrist rockets. Like, I mean, I shouldn't have been shooting them lizards and them birds with wrist rockets. Like, but you know, I was a kid. I was a teenage boy, and like a wrist rocket's cool. Shooting birds and stuff was cool to me back then. I wouldn't do that now. I think if you kill it, you should eat it. That's my point. Don't kill for just the fact of doing it. But you know, like, are the kids gonna miss that stuff in today's world? I hope not. Like, I try to take my son fishing and out into the woods as much as I possibly can. But, you know, I mean, like, that's the thing about working. You work to support your family, right? And you have a house and you pay for your house and you pay to support your family. And how much time do I really spend in my house? How much time do I really spend with my family? You know, luckily my job, like, my wife comes down here to the farm and hangs out with me, you know, and we go over to Ed's a lot and we go swimming, we go fishing and stuff. But man, like, it's like you feel like you're putting in 10 hours a day and then you're sleeping 8 hours a day. So how much time is that left with the ones you love? Like, take some time out of your day. Like I try to take some time out of your day and call your wife or send a loved one a text. You know, like, we have this thing a bunch of the guys do, that we text each other in the morning, just a good morning, how you doing, you know, and that's a way to stay connected too. Yeah, the phone, man, I'm no better, dude. I'm no better. Like, especially with this mortgage thing going through right now. I tell you what, I've never checked in my emails. Like, I have 2,000 unread emails, but now I'm checking my emails like this. Oh my goodness. I got myself so worked up last week, and I don't know why. I just, like, I know God's in control. I know that I don't have to worry about anything, but I got myself such in a panic over, oh my goodness, am I doing, when am I going to sign this paperwork? When am I going to sign that paperwork? Oh, like seriously. And it was almost a week that I had myself where my stomach hurt. And I knew in my head that I shouldn't worry, but the physical reaction my body was having over the stress was horrible. And it wasn't until I really got down and prayed, like, God, like, you're in charge. I am not. Guys, I'm not educated, man. Like I did some college, but didn't do it for any credits. And like, I got a lot of street education from, you know, living on the streets and being homeless and stuff. And I got a lot of education from my grandmother and my grandfather and stuff. Like, my grandmother got me started planting plants, and I love to watch plants grow. And my grandmother got me started loving cooking. She was an Italian lady, and she used to start the pasta sauce like at 8-10 o'clock in the morning and let that stuff cook all day. I mean, like, those are the things that I learned in my life, that my grandfather taking me fishing, man. The things that I remember in life, the things I learned was from them. Like, I was no good at school. I can't spell. I can hardly read. Like, I have a hard time reading your guys' names. They asked me to sign my wife asked me to sign her in. We were going into a place to share our stories, that they asked us, the facility asked us to come in and share a little bit about my history and her history to the patients that were there. And my wife had to go to the bathroom, and she said, "Sign me in." I had to look her up on my phone to spell her name right. I'm not well educated, guys, but and this has been very stressful buying this house because I've been on here trying to read these emails from lawyers and the and I just had to realize it, like, man, you're making yourself sick over something that's out of your control. And most of life is out of my control. What I have somewhat control over is my actions and my reactions. I don't have control over basically everything else in life. Like, man, I could be driving home and get hit by a car and it could all be over. I could never own my house. I could, but hopefully, hopefully I've set things in place where my wife and my son will be taken care of. But that's the thing. You never know. So enjoy life now. Enjoy it. Look at it. I swear, I live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. And you can too. It doesn't have to be South Carolina. It can be wherever you're at. Just look up at the sky, man. Look at the trees. Look at your surroundings. Just be thankful for it. Like, gratitude is the biggest thing in my life. That's the biggest thing that I've learned, is be grateful no matter what. Yeah, I'm a product of a California education system, man. But I got severe dyslexia. Like, it's not just in words, it's also in numbers and stuff. I'm really bad with basically anything like that. Like words, numbers, like I put things backwards, and it's hard for me. It's always been hard for me. When it comes to like education, like school taught education, like if I hear it, like if it's told to me in a certain way, like if it's written down, like I don't retain any of the information that I read. I don't. I've read the Bible so many times that I've now, like, I pretty much good at it. Like, and I'm pretty good at remembering where things are and stuff. But really what helped me was listening to the Bible on CD. Like I listened to it on CD. Like whenever I used to drive a lot long distances in between hot sauce shows and stuff like that. And that's what really sticks with me, is when I hear stuff, it sticks with me. Or when I'm shown how to do something physically, it sticks with me. But I can't learn out of a book. It's pretty hard for me to learn out of a book or anything else. But hands-on stuff, I'm pretty good at. I'm not good at automobiles. Like, last car I worked on was a 1958 Chevy Apache that I had when I was a kid, when things were much simpler. But yeah, I don't even know where to try to change my oil on my car now. It's just easier to go down and pay somebody that is an expert to do it. And that's another thing about life that I've found about life in the years I've been here, is certain people are very well educated and have in what they do it very well. So letting them do it, if I can afford to let them do it, is better than me trying to do it myself. I plan on having a fence put on my property. If you guys saw that picture of my house, it don't have a fence in the backyard. It's a thing out here in South Carolina that I've noticed is people don't have fences. Like, your yard runs into your neighbor's yard and there is no fence. Like, and being from California, I don't know. I feel like I need to have a fence. And letting my dog out in the backyard would be nice with a fence. Like, so I'm going to have a fence put in. Now, I've done fencing in the past with my uncle. My uncle is a contractor, and he used to do a lot of fencing. I've done fencing in the past with my uncle, but renting an auger and getting a wheelbarrow and bags of cement and fence poles and everything else, and then trying to stretch that fence, like, you know what? I don't, it's not that I don't want to do it. I don't think I'm physically able to do it anymore. And that's the thing. It's like learning when you're at your limit. Like I'm still having a hard time with that. I will work until I can't stand up anymore. And like the Italian festival this weekend, I did a bunch of stuff I shouldn't have done. Getting boxes and putting, like, I'm like, a one sauce box, that's not a 20. I have a 20-pound weight limit. Well, that's true. It's not 20 pounds. But what I found was bending down and stacking them under the tables and doing and up and down and all that. Like, man, like I shouldn't have done it. I should have waited till one of the younger kids got there, or, asked somebody else for help. And I'm not good at asking for help. I'm not good at it yet. That's something I need to learn to do, is because I got degenerate disc disease. I'm planning on having surgery this summer. I just got that cortisone shot last week. It didn't do nothing, but I've had so many cortisone shots. The epidurals, like, they're hit or miss. I haven't had any Black Rifle coffee today. Today we went to a little place called Humble Cup. It's a local. I love local coffee shops. I'm not a huge fan of Starbucks, man. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the corporation coffee. But you do with what you want to do with. Like, but this is a little coffee shop that opened up this last year called Humble Cup. And I mean, they roast their own beans, and they've got one of the best coffees out there. And so today, like, I'm trying to be on this diet, and I haven't lost any more weight. I'm down at 187, and I wanted to be at 185 by the time I go to Mexico. But I'm at 187, just can't take those couple pounds off. And I'm like, man, like, maybe it's the coffees I'm drinking. Black Rifle has a lot of sugar. I love Black Rifle, but it's got a lot of sugar in it and cream and stuff. And my doctor said, stay off of whole dairy and stay away from sugar and don't eat any more gluten. So I'm trying to do all that stuff. But coffee was the one thing. It's like, man, like, I'm a cream and sugar type of coffee guy. So I went from having, the latte with the 4 packs of sugar and 2 shots, down to having just the latte without the sugar. And then I realized this last week, I'm like, you know what? Just give me the espresso, man. So I had a couple shots of espresso. I'm sure that wore off, though, hours ago. I do take Excedrin migraine. It works the best for my pain. Like, I don't know if it's the caffeine along with the aspirin or whatever it is, but I have to take gabapentin. And when I take the gabapentin with a couple Excedrin migraines, I mean, within a half hour, like, I'm feeling the tingly in my leg instead of the shooting pain. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I don't like the energy drinks at all. I've never liked them. Any kind of fake sugar is really off-putting to me. So a lot of the energy drinks have that fake sugar in it, and they also have that guanara. You know, when I was down in oh man, Costa Rica. Our tour bus stopped at this little Mexican shop, and I went into this little Mexican shop, and they had all these sodas that I never had before. And I love food, and I love trying new things. My whole point in traveling in life is not really to see new places, is to try new foods. I'm sorry, England, that's why I'm never coming back to you. I sampled all of your guys' foods. I'm pretty sure there wasn't anything in England that I did not sample. I sampled the big roast on Sunday that smelt so delicious and was actually flavorless. I sampled the fish and chips that the piece of fish came out on the plate that was hanging over like by a foot on each side. It was tasteless. And you give me vinegar for it? I don't know. You guys have different tastes than me. But I'm down there in Costa Rica, and I go into this little shop. The tour bus stopped to fill up gas and stuff. And I go into this little shop, and they have all these sodas that I've never heard of, never seen before. And I was like, I bought one of each. And one of them was tamarind, definitely was tamarind or some kind of tamarind. I don't read Spanish, so tamarindo, but it didn't say tamarindo on there, so I don't know. But anyway, I get this one drink, and the tour guide that's on the bus comes up to me and he goes, do you know what that is? And I said, no, I don't. I just bought these things, and I was planning on drinking them while we drive and see the different sites and stuff. And he goes, you might want to hold off on that one. I go, why? And he goes, it's the main ingredient in energy drinks. That's what it is. It's a guanano or whatever they call it. He goes, it's the main ingredient in most energy drinks, and that's straight guanano. And I was like, oh, all right. So we're getting towards the end of the day, and I'm like, you know what? I could use some straight guanano. Like, I need a little pick-me-up. So I cracked this thing open, and I took a swig. Oh, my dear Lord, it was the most god-awful thing I have ever tasted. And I used to eat out of dumpsters, guys. Oh, it was horrible. And I was like, that is the flavor that is in energy drinks that I do not like. Peace out, yo no. I haven't been to Australia. I'd love to go to Australia. I really, really want to go to New Zealand. I got a good friend that lives down in New Zealand. He's an awesome guy, Chris Colin from CULLEY'S. And he's been inviting me down there to see him for a few years now. And if I could afford the plane ticket for me and my family, I'd probably go down to New Zealand. I hear it's absolutely gorgeous. I've always, on my bucket list, has always been Australia. Your guys' food looks amazing. Like shrimp on the Barbie. Who wouldn't want shrimp on the Barbie, you know? So yeah, there's a lot of places I still want to go. I plan on, like, that's my thing is I save every year to take my family on one trip a year. This year we're going to Mexico, going to Cancun. And yeah, both countries are awesome. I bet, man. I'd love to go down there and see that. Down under. Down under what? Across the flat plain, but it's down under. But yeah, I'm taking my family to Cancun on the 2nd of June. We're going to be down there for a week. I know I've been before. I wanted them to experience it. That a lot of these trips that I want to take my family on are ones that I went on as a kid and I have good memories. There's this cigar shop on the hotel strip that's on the Friends of Habana list. All their Cuban cigars are guaranteed. I only shop Friends of Habana. There's a little app you can get on your phone so you know who has real Cubans and who doesn't. So I plan on picking up quite a few real Cubans. From what I understand, I can bring back 200 sticks per person. I don't know if my son can do that, and I can't afford it. I know that for sure, but I'm planning on buying some Cuban cigars. And then when I get back up here, I'm going to be moving. The house closes on the 31st. I get the keys to my new abode on the 1st. We fly out on the 2nd, and when we come back in the 8th, I will be moving all my stuff from the house, our current house, and putting it on the market and moving into my new house. So I'm excited about that. No longer nervous, giving it up to God. No longer nervous about that move. Just excited. I'm excited to take my family to Cancun. I've taken them to the Caribbean before, so they know the blue water, the crystal clear blue water and stuff. But to spend a week on the white sandy beach and, you know, the hotel is all inclusive, 14 restaurants. So I'm going to be having a good time. Everything's included. We don't drink, but the virgin mixed drinks are included. So my son loves pina coladas. He had never had one before. I got him hooked on pina coladas when we were in the Caribbean. So he's going to be happy. The first place I ever got drunk was in Cancun. I was a little kid. Well, not little, but my grandmother took us all down to Cancun, and we stayed at the Sheraton, and they had a fiesta night. And so we all went to this fiesta night, and the waiters were walking around with the drinks on trays. And my grandmother and my parents and stuff said, you know, virgin pina coladas for the kids. And I did not get virgin pina coladas. I got the real thing. And by the end of the night, it came time to stand up and walk back to the hotel room, and I could not. But I was laughing and having a really good time, and I was a real introvert back then. Like, I grew up very introverted, very afraid to talk to people, very afraid to have a good time outwardly. I got over that. Being homeless helped with that. Also, being in the program really helped with that. And most of all, working for Charman brand, man. When I worked for Charman brand, I got to go behind the booth and actually talk about stuff I loved, you know? And I love hot sauce, so I'm really passionate about it. So I was able to come out of my shell and really talk to the customers and be passionate about the hot sauce I was selling. So that really helped me come out of my shell. And now I am who I am today. Like, through working the program and everything else, it's really like I'm not afraid to let it all hang out. You know, I am who I am. I'm happy with who I am. I want to continue working on myself, but I definitely am happy with who I am. Yeah, we're going down to Cancun. I booked the Chichen Itza to go see the pyramids and the game area and everything. That had a real big impact on me when I was a kid. And so I hope my son's going to have the same experience. And I asked him, I said, hey, man, like, it is a 12-hour day. They pick us up at the hotel at 8 in the morning, and they drop us off at 8 at night. I go, do you think you'll be able to go without the electronics? Because there's going to be no Wi-Fi to play his games. And I showed him pictures of the pyramid and the the historical site and everything. And he said yes, he was willing to do it. Do I have expectations that he is going to make it 12 hours without pitching several fits and crying and the rest of it? No, I stopped having expectations. Expectations lead to disappointment and resentment. I will tell you that. Just like I was telling you guys about cooking earlier, when I cook a lavish meal, I expect those attaboys. I expect my family to go, oh, Tom, you went out of your way, and this is amazing. Expectations breed disappointment, guys. Do not expect things in life. Habanero is good in Cancun. Habaneros are good everywhere, man. Like, habaneros are delicious. Habaneros probably I was going to say my favorite tasting pepper, but really Pepper X is. I love the citrusy, like, it's not floral. Like, the Reaper tastes god awful, guys. Like, I don't care, another conspiracy or whatever. I don't care what side of the fence you're on about the Reaper and the Primo pepper, but I've had 7 Pot Primos from Troy, and they taste a lot better to me than Reaper. A Reaper tastes like death. Like, don't tell everyone I said that. No, I don't care. You guys can tell everyone I said that. They might look similar. Troy's seem to be a little bit smaller than the Reapers, but like the Reaper tastes like death. Like, I do not like the flavor. I don't like the flavor of it at all. I don't. I love habaneros. I love the fruitiness of a habanero, almost that almost like a guava, like a hint of guava when you bite into a fresh habanero, an orange habanero. The chocolate ones are a little different. Chocolate pods, I'm not really a huge fan of any of the chocolate pods. Like, Ed loves the chocolate habanero, but he also loves the taste of the Reaper, and go figure. Scotch bonnets are great. Yeah, I do enjoy Scotch bonnet pepper. A little bit more fruity than the hob, I'd say, on a Scotch bonnet. A little bit more flavor there. I think the Scotch bonnets, don't quote me on this, I think they're a little bit sweeter with the more sugar content in them than a hob too. But yeah, scorpion pepper, like, I'd take a scorpion over Reaper any day as far as flavor goes. Scorpion is a good pepper. Not one of my favorites. Scorpion is also one of those more floral, like, the difference between fruity and floral for me. Like, a lot of people go, oh, that's a real floral pepper. For me, a floral pepper is that it's not like fruity, is like got that sweetness and that kind of similar to like a citrus or to like a guava or something like that. And then floral to me is like your grandmother's perfume that, like, she was wearing to cover up the old age smell. Like, the Reaper to me is a floral pepper, and so is the Scorpion. Like, I'm not bagging on either one of them. It's not like, I'd rather have a Scorpion than a Reaper, that's for sure. Yeah, the yellows and the greens, the orange, yeah, they're good. Howler monkey sauces, man. Like, my parents went to Costa Rica many years ago, and they brought me up Howler monkey and I'd never had it before. This is probably going on 10 years ago or so, and I'd never had it before, and I was impressed. I would say that for the heat and the flavor, that it was an impressive sauce. Um, when I went to Costa Rica, I did not buy any Howler Monkey sauce, not because it was basically the only hot sauce around. Not because of that, I brought powder with me, and when I'm tasting a bunch of new foods, I'd rather use pepper powder than use hot sauce. I think the hot sauces, the flavor profiles, Howler Monkey's got a great Reaper sauce that is just straight pods, man. But I don't, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Reaper. But pepper powder, Reaper powder is great. Like a lot of the new recipes that we were coming up with, I like to use powder in them. The Mexicans, when you make a hot sauce, or the Costa Ricans for the most part, not Howler Monkey, but when you get a hot sauce, it's usually made out of dried peppers. Dried peppers. And I think that that's a good way to make hot sauce myself. I like you don't cover up the other flavors you're trying to highlight. Now, straight pepper sauce is also very versatile. That's why I like Gator. It's my favorite. Still to this day is my favorite. Is that citrusy taste of the Pepper X doesn't really overpower too much of the food that you're putting it on. But like I said, like I like powder to take on vacations with me, especially when I'm trying new foods for the first time. I wish I had hot sauce when I was in England, guys. I really do. Something has to go on their food. And I did find hot sauce while I was in England. I was at Stonehenge, and I went into their little shop, and there was hot sauce. Thank God. I since met the guys, Jeremy or Jamie Scythe is his name, that made the hot sauce. And I was like, man, you saved my England experience with that sauce. I'm so glad I found it there. But yeah, when I was in Costa Rica, I used powder. I love powder on any food. Like it doesn't really change the flavor. But yeah, guys, I think I've gone over this live stream by as much as I could possibly go over this live stream. Ed's going to say, "What were you doing the whole time?" I'm going to say I was working. He's going to know. All right. I love y'all. Remember, don't take life so seriously. Look outside, enjoy the day, and be grateful for everything you have. Like, I mean, if you're grateful, you're going to have a better life. It's that simple. And all my conspiracies were for entertainment purposes only. Do not tell your children that the earth is flat unless you want to get a note from a teacher or something. I mean, I tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. All right. Love you guys. I'm going to end this now. I know we're going to be doing the Friday giveaway. Look for that announcement. I do not know if we're doing sauce tasting tomorrow or not. That's up to Ed. And no, Ed's not watching this on his phone because Ed's getting a massage right now. We have the best, like Ed found this masseuse. She is the best. I mean, but she hurts so. I mean, she gets the knots and she gets in there, and I don't know how she does it, but she puts you with her thumb. She can put you in more pain than any man has ever put you in. Like, swear to God, like she hits these pressure points or whatever, and and you're bruised. Like I'm usually bruised around my ribs. She says that the muscles here are all too tight. She usually rips that apart. But that's what Ed's doing. He is getting a massage right now, and he should be back. It's an hour and a half massage, so he should be back any moment. So I should get to work. Love you guys. Have a good time. Make sure to join us for the giveaway on Friday. And if we do a sauce review tomorrow, make sure to join us. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the hearts. Love y'all. I will see you later. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. There we go. End live stream. Yes, sir. End it.